Welcome to Just Mitchin. I'm Mitchin. I'm your host. I'm here with Abe and a very, very special and talented guest, Matthew Lee Rosen. Matthew, how are you doing?
Oh man, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me. I love being able to interact with my fans, so this is a really good opportunity to do so and answer any questions that you guys might have. So go ahead, kick it off.
Yeah, it's really cool to talk to you because I've been a fan of yours for a long time, definitely since I got into the hobby and seeing what you do with junk wax cards because they just sit in everybody else's basement and you came up the really cool way. What inspired you to do like gum art, for instance, like this one I won from you? If it shows up, my lighting's
Oh,
terrible. And like the nicotine and all that kind of like it's so outside of the box that it's beautiful.
well, thanks for the compliments, man. I was inspired, first of all, to make some art with the cards because I had boxes of them from my childhood, and they're not worth anything, man. They made so many of them. It was the card boom. They just overproduced them. So, I want to do something cool. And I was making cool wall art. And then during COVID, when everyone sort of bunkered down, I lost work just like most people did. So I wanted to kind of, budget and not spend resources on large pieces of art. So I started making cards. Um, and obviously the cards have been a really good hit. The gum, you know, everything I do, I try to tell stories with my art. I don't just decorate things, like there's a purpose behind it. And obviously the gum ties back into the history of the Tox Chewing Gum Company and how they used to market and sell their products. And I do a lot of things that relate with the Bazooka Joe character as well. Because if you would notice, like on the back of retro cards and vintage stuff, there's like little comic book illustrations on a lot of them.
Oh yes, I know. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I
Yeah,
think.
and so those back in the day would have been illustrated by the same comic book illustrators that were creating the scripts for Bazooka Joe and all their packaging and
Oh,
stuff. So
that's so cool.
it all kind of relates to each other. And so when I make this art, part of it is trying to story tell about the history of the cards. And then there's also some analogies or metaphors that can be used with the gum itself. Like when I first started making it, my original premise was kind of stained or tainted careers. So like all the juicers from the steroid era, Barry Bonds, Mark McGuire and stuff, all their numbers in their records, they're all tainted from juicing. So I would, since the gum would often stain the back of the card in the pack, I would use that as a metaphor for art that I would make for those players. And then it just kind of grew from there. So.
That's beautiful. No, like I have the Mike Hargraves. I love it. Like the whole when people see it, they ask me why is there raindrops. I'm like, and I get to tell the story because he's the human rain delay, and they're like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Exactly,
My
man.
absolute favorite card that you've done so far is the Nike Ken Griffey because I live in Beaverton, which is the Nike headquarters, and then like I'm a huge Mariners fan, so that really connects with me.
I could see you got all your gear on right there.
I wear a jersey every day.
How many days can you go wearing a new jersey?
It depends. It's all on win streaks. So like so when we won like three in a row, I wore the same jersey 3 days in a row. Like I washed it after like the second day because I'm not gross, but I'll keep wearing it. If they keep winning, I'll keep wearing it. But if they don't, as soon as they lose, it's off. Like I'm done with you, which happens a lot as a Mariners fan. What do you think about your Cubbies this year?
You know what? I'm glad to see them doing well. Their bullpen is miserable, but it's just fun to be watching baseball. My expectations of the season weren't very good because I didn't think they'd be able to. It didn't last this long. I thought we'd be done already. So any baseball I get to watch is good. Um, I watched a lot of Dodgers actually. Like after the Cubs are on, and because I'll switch to the West Coast game, and that team is just so good. So I don't know how any team can compete with them in a playoff series. Um, but
maybe New York with it. I mean, I know Abe's not liking this because he's a Cardinals fan.
All right.
Yeah, but I do live in Chicago though, so I live right off Wrigleyville. I live right up here, so I'm really always surrounded by the whole Cubs thing, and I'm like the one sore thumb that sticks out.
You're the one guy wearing red surrounded by
Yep,
blue. So
at Wrigley. Yep. Yeah.
What projects are you working on right now? Because I saw the Honus Wagner cigarette. That blew my mind. That thing was so cool. How did you build that in the first place?
It's something that an idea I had like months and months back, and it just finally made sense to do it at the right time because some of tobacco card stuff was trending, and I was like, man, I want to make this. So I had bought these giant PVC pipes.
Okay.
They were, they're 5 foot long and like this round or whatever. And I had stashed them in my storage, knowing that that's what I wanted to use them for. And then the timing was just right, and I finally created it, and I launched a little set of tobacco cards where I created like a nicotine tar effect.
Those were so sick.
Yeah. So, and again, it just it all links together. It tells a story. It all relates to the card itself. Like everything I make has a purpose. I know some artists, they just like to decorate things. I like to tell stories, and I have a very important or significant purpose behind what I'm making. And I think that adds value to each piece that I make. So.
That's been cool. That's kind of the story we're getting because we've talked to Lauren Taylor and we talked to Blake Jameson, and they're both like in the storytelling, which I love hearing because to me that's so inspiring that it's not just art on a wall, that like there's a whole story behind it, that it's meaningful, it's impactful.
It adds extra value. It's just, there's something to it instead of just kind of decorating something. So, and I place a strong value on that. Today, I just released a bunch of more Griffey stuff. I don't know if you saw.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. I've been painting it all day. Did some Griffey Air Max ones.
Oh, that's sick.
And some more Junior Raindrops and stuff. So you guys will have to check it out on the site.
We definitely will. And I love the cereal you just did. Like last week, the milk and cereal.
Yeah,
that was
more
cool.
That's coming.
I looked at those on and I saw the cards you used, the post ops. I was like, oh, that's super clever. What inspired you to get in art? Have you always been an artist, or was this just kind of something that came later in life?
I've always been a creator. I've always made stuff. I've worked for myself my whole adult career, just doing visual design oriented stuff. And then I just started to get back into making my own art. I normally travel a lot, like for my normal career. I do like corporate events. So I would fly almost every week of the year. I would go to a different city and I would help produce like a big conference or something. And I would be doing designing graphics for it and stuff. So along my travels, I would visit cities all over the country and all over the world. And one of my hobbies was to go find street art. And I would photograph it, share it on my Instagram, kind of map it out so others can see like where to find these awesome murals. And I just kind of doing that kind of re-inspired me to start making my own art again, because it had been years like since I was in college basically that I was making my own paintings and stuff. So yeah, about I guess it was December 2018, I started making baseball cards. My parents were like, "You got to take these cards out of the house." So I finally, took all that stuff, and I was like, "All right, well, I got some stuff to make." Tim Carroll really inspired me. I'm sure you're familiar with his work. Mm-hmm. Just seeing him create stuff out of cards kind of got my brain going. And obviously, I didn't want to do exactly what he did. He was already doing it. I came up with my own thing, and I think I landed in a good spot. So.
You hit it out of the ballpark. Like even the details into your one touches, like how you have the Rosen on top. I was just showing Abe, and I was like, it's beautiful and so creative. And when you send like the cards, I love how I got a piece of bubble gum. I have it right here. Like It's just and autographed. Like I'm like to me that's so cool, and it's an extra step showing that you really care about what you're doing instead of it just being a profit, which makes it's so much more fun to talk about. But where does your love for the sport of baseball come from? I know growing up in Chicago, it's a baseball city, but like, what's the story behind that?
Um, the household I grew up, it was a Chicago sports household: Cubs, Bears, Bulls. You didn't watch a lot of hockey growing up, so. But I used to go to Wrigley with my grandfather and with my dad when I was a little kid, and it just, that's how it starts, right?
Right, it's
Just when you're
addicting.
a kid, and so I've loved baseball my whole life. Been a fan, like a very ardent fan. I'm a season ticket holder now for the last I don't know 6-7 years or so.
Oh, sweet. Where are your seats?
Bleachers.
Okay.
Um,
My mom's best friend, because before we moved out to Portland was 2001. So before that, my mom and dad, we lived in the Juliet Bolingbrook area, and my mom's best friend is diehard Cubs fan. When the Cubs won the World Series in 16, she said that was the greatest moment of her life. She has 2 kids, and she said that was better than having 2 kids. I was like, Amy, and she's like, it was. She's like, I've been waiting for this my whole life. She's like, I already had kids.
Do you still?
We all feel like that, right?
I mean,
still fortunate. I flew my dad up. My folks live in South Florida.
okay.
So I was at Game 6 to send to the Cubs the World Series, and as soon as I got home, I didn't want to jinx anything, no. And as soon as I got home, I booked my dad a ticket and flew him up. I took him to a World Series game. That's like dream come true. So
that's one of those ones. Like, I'll always remember where I watched that World Series kind of thing, just because it was so classic and such a big moment in sports history, because we've all been waiting for it to happen.
yeah, and both of those teams too. Like both fan bases were waiting for it to happen, and so it was big and it was memorable and it was awesome, and I'll never forget it. So I don't know how Abe feels about it, but
I mean, I see. The thing is, I've seen the Cardinals win, and it was awesome because being in the city when it happened. Because I was here for like the Blackhawks parade, that was insane. Like I went to that. When the Cubs won, I was here, and like, it's not even about like, oh yeah, I hate the Cubs, because I do, but like just the environment in this city, it was so cool to be a part of that. Like, it's not something that you get to like say you did every day. Like it's not, it's something that's special. And like, as much as I was like, should I do this or not? Like I went, and it was fun. Like I enjoyed it a lot. It was awesome.
it was such a great feeling, man. Like every day for the next
Yeah.
until the election, basically. Every day, people were walking around. People were just saying hi and smiling and congratulating everyone,
Yeah.
in the neighborhood, and it was such a great feeling. So.
Yeah.
It's definitely like, because I love the Cubs Cardinals rivalry. My stepdad grew up in St. Louis. He's a diehard Cardinals fan, and like just the way, like all the history you learn, like especially with Harry Carey. Like I never knew that he was a Cardinals broadcaster before he became the Cubs broadcaster. And knowing the whole story behind that, and like Lou Brock being a Cub, then he becomes a Cardinals legend. Like just little things that people don't know unless like you're a diehard fan. And that's like the unique thing that the Cubs and the Cardinals have with their rivalry.
It's it's the Yankees, Red Sox of the Midwest, or Dodgers, Giants. But I think we're very welcoming when Cardinals fans come to Chicago.
That's true.
But I can't say the opposite. Like I've been down to St. Louis. It was not a very fun experience. So I don't really plan on visiting there too often.
The both of them have a beautiful ballpark, but before we let you go, I got 6 questions to rapid fire, and like the first answer that comes to your head, you hit me with them. So, what is your favorite food?
New York pizza.
Really? Not Chicago style?
No deep dish.
Love New York pizza, man. Like a nice big giant slice, like as big as your head. Dripping. Yeah.
Who is your favorite athlete to do your art with, like to draw, stencil?
I'd say Griffey, just because his silhouette is like his swing is like
It's
it's the
perfect.
most beautiful swing, right?
It's the
I mean,
most beautiful thing in the world.
He should be, if they were going to update the MLB logo, it should be him on his backswing, right?
That would be
It's
cool.
perfect.
I have like this. It's from like MLB The Show. They did like his with him with the bat behind his head.
Oh,
Yeah,
awesome.
his hat backwards, which is super dope. And then, who's your favorite Cubs player?
Right now I go Rizzo. I mean, I love them all. Rizzo is a little more dear to my heart because I actually grew up. I was born in Chicago, but I grew up in South Florida, and that's where my parents are right now. And Rizzo and I graduated from the same high school at different times.
That's awesome.
And it's the same high school that had a mass shooting a couple years ago. So Parkland and
Okay.
Marjorie Stoneman Douglas in Parkland, Florida. So Rizzo has like a special like extra bond to me.
And Rizzo's a good dude. Like everything, like you've read, like beating cancer. I loved how he was handing out hand sanitizer the other day.
Yeah.
Like just seems like a cool guy. Beer or wine?
Oh, beer for sure.
Beer. What kind of beer?
I'm drinking Modelo right now. This is my self-made koozies.
Oh,
my
sweet.
all-star day drinker. So,
That's so dope. I love that.
little 89 on the back, and there's a little Modelo in there.
What is your ideal ball game food?
Chicago dog.
Chicago dog. And then last question, Portillo's, yes or no?
Yes, absolutely.
And then what do you get from there? Because I haven't had Portillo's in like 6 years.
Italian beefs.
Okay, I'm the hot dog guy from there. The sesame bud, nothing beats it.
Yeah.
Abe doesn't like Portillo's.
It's not that I don't like it. I think it's a little bit overrated.
No, it's not. It's a Chicago classic. Well, Matthew, thank you for sharing your time in your very busy day. Do you have anything you want to self-promote, or the floor is yours?
I mean, I don't really need to do self-promoting. I thank you guys. I hope some of my fans are watching. If there were any questions on Twitter that were posed to me, I didn't really get a chance to look, so I'll go in there and answer if anyone had any specific questions. But thanks for your support, and thank you for promoting my work. All the support that I get from my fans and other collectors is very meaningful in every way. Whether you're supporting me through sharing or purchasing, it's all meaningful to me because, I'm trying to spread my art love around. So thank you guys very much, and hope you enjoy the rest of your chat, and we'll see you on Twitter. All right?
All right.
We will. Thank you, man. And by the way, I know Blake wants to have you on his show.
Yeah, well, we're trying to figure out a good time to do that. So
it could be a long one with Blake.
Yeah. I've told him, I try to do quick ones. Let's see, he's got assistants working for him, so I don't. I've got tons of stuff to do, so I try to keep my things a little short. But yeah, it'll happen. You'll see me on there soon, I hope.
I can't wait. Thanks, brother.
Yeah. All right, be good, guys.
All right.
You have a good one.
Bye.
Bye. Dude, that was awesome. He was a cool dude.
Yeah.
That was. We just keep getting lucky, like people that are very well spoken and like can hold a conversation. We haven't we do all this studying on like how to do a podcast, how to interview people, and it's like you're gonna get that one interview where the person doesn't answer your questions the way you're expecting it, and that hasn't happened yet.
It definitely helps when people are more engaging. They're like more willing to like carry the conversation than, if they're just waiting for you to carry it.
Right.
Because I don't know, it feels on both sides, right? It kind of feels better when like I'm talking to you and you also like engage than like if it's just me talking constantly. So
I do that anyways. That's what I do.
See, and I don't mind that because like that's what I'm saying. Like when you do carry it, like it's easier for me to just like observe.
Well, you're fun to watch because I watch you on the screen while I'm talking to somebody, and you're like a kid in the candy shop. You're just like, I'm hearing conversation. This is so cool.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy the conversation. So yeah,
it's a fun one. It's definitely when we first started this project, I thought we would just have like a traditional sports show what was it, 2 times a week that we talk sports,
Yeah.
BS, get in the hobby. I never thought that our niche would be interviewing artists and authors.
Yeah.
We get the writers and sportcasters as well, but I thought like it all be all about sports. Instead, it's like becoming this own thing that I don't really know how to explain it when people ask me what your podcast is about.
I think it's a little bit cooler too because it's like centered around sports, but at the same time it's goes a little bit deeper than like why did the Yankees win yesterday or like
Right.
just like that's very surface level, and I think going into more like of why people are into sports or why people got into sports, got into art that's geared towards sports, like stuff like that is more interesting.
It's especially it gets in a deeper meaning when you're being able to talk with the artists themselves, because you look at art but you don't know who's doing. Like you look at Blake's cards, but if I never met Blake, I wouldn't know anything about him. Like how amazing his story is, how his journey was absolutely like up and down, go balls to the wall, just go for it kind of thing. And I'm happy that like we got to talk to him because that like changed the way we do things. Like we were more like just asking anybody on the show instead of like being selective and worried about the yes or no. I'm like, boom, whoever pops up blue check mark. Do you seem interesting? I'm asking you. Even if you're a little guy, like we have Terrence Tang. He's just up and coming with the shoe game and shoe art. Like he'll be fun to talk to because he's like building his way up. Just like Matthew Lee Rosen. Like I've been following him since the beginning when his art was just the big pieces and like where he's growing.
Yeah.
And like just the creativity of putting like the bubble gum and like when you touch like the gum on the cards and stuff, it's raised, so it has like the texture level. I don't know if you're supposed to touch it, but you know me, I don't follow rules.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool that even as big as Blake is in like the whole art scene, like I think this is really where his career's gone to the next level, right? Because when Project 2020 started is when he started hiring a bunch of people too. So like, obviously he's got a higher volume of work now that he's able to do that. And his career is definitely like, I mean, we can see that it's growing pretty steadily. So it's fun that, we're getting these people at the beginning.
Right. Yeah, we're talking to them all before it's blowing up because, like Lauren said, sports and art wasn't a thing. Like you had sports and you had art, but nobody thought you could compare them together, which has always blown my mind because, like, I have the photo of Favre, like this one right here.
Yeah.
To me, that's art, but nobody was drawing it. Like you'd see some drawings, but now like
there's a ton.
It seems like there's ton, and like getting to know these people and how they do it, and not every single one is the same. Nobody does it the same, which is so crazy because like you see sports, they all try to idolize somebody, but these people are coming up with their own styles, like things I couldn't ever like think of, like how Lauren like puts like a player inside the player, or Blake and how he's brought street art to like mainstream media, and Matthew took junk wax and turned it into profit. And like we have Gray coming on, his oil work looks like a real picture.
Yeah.
I know you're excited for that one.
Yeah, I am. I see. The thing with that is I'm excited to talk to him because he's been around for a long time.
He's been on tops.
Yeah, like in the industry that, we've been focused in, like he's been around, like he's seen the changes, he's seen everything. So it's like it'll be interesting to talk to him.
He's been there since the beginning, which will be really cool to see and like talk to him. I think that's next week, and then the following week we have Jeffrey Perlman, and then I think Terrence Tang finishes it up. Going like off the top of my head, Jeffrey Perlman will be fun. He's written nine best-selling series, 9 best-selling books on the New York Times. I can't talk today. That's my job.
He talks about he has a book about Favre, right?
Yeah, I can grab it. Like, I'm gonna disappear real quick. Boom, it's right here. I'm knocking down like all my cards as I'm like showing stuff. I'm gonna like clean up a huge mess. No, right here, Gunslinger. This book is so good. Like, I mean, I'm a nerd. Like, Brett Favre's middle name's Lorenzo. He was born October 10th, 1969. Like, I know shit I shouldn't know about Brett Favre. Like, his dad's name's Irv. Like, those kind of things. Because I'm such a big Brett Favre fan. So reading that book was really cool. And I'll probably nerd out about Brett Favre, and that's what the show will be about.
Yeah. I mean, I don't blame you because Brett Favre, I think as far as like quarterbacks go, he was the last, like, I wouldn't say he was from like the era before, but he'd been around for quite a long time before, like, because when I saw him, right, like he's still on the Packers,
right,
but like he'd been around for a while, right? Like,
right.
He was because I watched him half of his career. I watched him in Green Bay, and then he was in Minnesota. And
don't forget the Jets. He was a Jet for a year.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah. So like it's crazy because like even at his age, like what year? How old was he when he retired, or like when he was on 40. Minnesota?
Oh man, he was in I think 39, 40. He was a grandpa.
So he was old, yeah. Like, and it was
he literally had a grandchild.
It was crazy to see him like, in Minnesota because he wasn't bad. Like, he was pretty good. Even
I mean, that first year in Minnesota, he took him to the NFC Championship game. He had his most like effective career, like from touchdowns and interception rate. Mm-hmm. Definitely changed, but then like he got the hell beat out of him by the Saints, and then that next year he was just done. You could tell the last couple years is like, I really liked playing the game of football. Yeah. But I don't want to do training camp. I don't want to go through mini camps. I don't want to practice. I just want to play. And that's where he got. I think, like, Brett Favre was definitely the last of the old quarterback mentality. Like, he's probably one of the first gunslingers. Like, he had a very – I mean, there's gunslingers before him, like Fran Tarkenton, the guys who just would put the ball where they, like, just throw it up and do whatever they could with it and make it work out of nothing. But, like, that hard nose, I'm going to play no matter what. Mm-hmm. Like, I miss practice.
Stafford is one of those guys.
Stafford's one of those guys. I think Eli was one of those guys. I mean, Eli had his second place.
Played a ton of games without missing any, right? It was like 200 something.
Yeah, his right. So it's like Favre then Eli, and then I think it's Peyton. So it's like two Mannings and then Brett Favre. That's the only record I think of Brett Favre's besides his interception record that will never be touched unless Jameson plays like the next 20 years.
Jameson?
Yeah. He throws picks at a normal rate, but he also gets touchdowns at a normal rate. So it's
30, 5,000 yards.
I mean, Favre had those seasons. I mean, the beauty with Favre was he played like a kid. He was Peter Pan on Sundays. He just had fun. He ran around, extended plays, threw bullet passes. I don't think Brett Favre knew what a lob was or like a back shoulder that we see Aaron throw these days. Yeah. Brett would just gun it in there as hard as he could, and I hope you catch it.
Yeah.
And, like, you might be triple covered, but that ball's going in. He just didn't
I've never asked you this, but, like, so for me, like, being a Colts fan, like, I saw the transition from Peyton Manning to Andrew Luck, and be it as it may, like, yeah, he retired, but, the transition from a great quarterback to another, like, great quarterback was, like, awesome. And for you, it's even better. Like, you went from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers, which, I have my own opinions on Aaron Rodgers, but he is a great quarterback. Like, he's easily, top 2, top 3.
Oh, yeah, all time. Right? I think
I don't know about all time. Let's calm down a little bit.
I think Aaron's up there. Aaron's top 5 all-time quarterbacks.
Top 5,
The way Aaron extends the play and the throws that he can make, especially when you want to, like, talk about a Hail Mary. And he's extremely smart. The thing that kills me with Aaron, and it has killed me for 15 years about now. I think we're almost at 15 years with Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers has been around for 15 years?
Maybe 13, something like that. I think his first season was 2007, 2008, or maybe 2008, 2009. So 12 years, maybe 13. It's been a long time.
So his rookie year was 2005. Yeah, he was drafted in 2005.
The first time he started. Yeah.
Holy shit.
15 years.
It does not feel
he's been
like
around 15 years. He got to sit behind one of the best quarterbacks of all time. I'll always say he's the greatest. I just like to get that conversation going, pissing people off. Because I'm a Brett Favre fan. I have a Brett Favre jersey. I have an Aaron Rodgers jersey. You ask my sister, she's 18. She never saw Favre play. She does not like Aaron Rodgers. He's too cocky. She loves Brett Favre. My mom will tell you she loves Brett Favre. I could call up my dad right now. He would say Brett Favre. Like my grandma before she passed away, she's a diehard Packers fan, born and raised in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Hated Aaron. Didn't hate Aaron. He was too cocky. She finally after right before she passed, she finally gave him his she always I can't remember what she called him. It wasn't a very nice name to Aaron Rodgers. But she got asked, what are you going to call him after? Now, and she's like, Mr. Rogers. So you kind of start to grow to Aaron, but Aaron isn't Favre. Aaron comes off as an asshole. He comes off as that West Coast kid, that cocky guy. And Brett's just that Southern, humble, goofy guy who is flawed.
Yeah.
I mean, he is a drug addict. He is a recovering alcoholic. He cheated on his wife. He's thrown interceptions. He's costed us games. Tony wanted to let me know about the 06, NFC Championship game. Yeah, Brett Favre threw the pick. I was in tears. Brett Favre broke my heart more times than anything growing up. And I always remember having to argue because kids were like, Brett Favre sucks. He throws too many picks. And I'm like, do you watch how he plays though? In the way he plays. And I think that's why Packer fans, Green Bay fans, or just some football fans in general who gotta watch him play, fell in love with him. I mean, he's the first player to win 3 MVPs in a row.
Yeah, and deservingly so. He was. Yeah, he was good. I don't think it's the conversation that he's great is not the point of argument. It's that he is the greatest. He's up there. I would
Oh yeah.
I'm not a Packers guy. Growing up where I grew up, I had a ton of friends that were Packers fans, and
but you had a ton of friends that hated them.
Right. Yeah. So it's both. It goes both ways. So then naturally I sided with, hey, I'm gonna hate the Bears and the Packers. But yeah, it's. I like watching the Packers play. I don't think I've ever watched the Packers and been all right, I don't want to watch this game because, it's gone from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers. And both of the ones where he threw the playoff games where he had the Hail Mary throws, I was watching both of them. Yeah. And I will never forget, I was in a pizza place, late at night, and I was there watching it on the TV that's on the screen. And me and my friends, both times we were there. And it's just
he hit the one against the Giants, which was nuts. And then he hit the one against the Cardinals. Which was ridiculous. And then earlier in the year, he had the one against the Lions.
Yeah. And I will never the catch was all 3 catches were amazing. But just – he was running around back there for quite a long time, all of them. And,
no, exactly. Quick idea. So if you can tell me, if you're watching this, if you can tell me who were the 3 people that caught those Hail Marys, I will give you I know it's baseball, Topps Project 2020 Gregory Siff Jeter. I'm not giving you Brett Favre cards. It's just not happening. But I will give you a Jeter. If you can tell me who were the 3 people that caught him. I know the answer, but do you?
I don't even know the answer.
I'll tell you off. Then you'll be like, what? Because 2 of them, I mean, one everybody knows. One, maybe some people know, remember him a little bit. And then the third one's he's a nobody. So
I remember the names once you tell me, but I couldn't tell you off the top of my head.
I'm talking to you and fixing cards because I'm so anal about how everything looks. I grab the hat and the hat holds 2 cards because I'm running out of room. Yeah. Everything I'm getting. What's the top, getting out of Brett Favre and me dry humping his leg. What's your biggest pickups lately?
I haven't been buying a lot of stuff lately. Just that 92 Jeter that I showed you.
That was sick.
I got 2 of those. Because
Tiger Woods.
Oh yeah, Tiger Woods. The Tiger Woods cards. Tiger Woods cards are I'm gonna be holding for a long time. I'm definitely gonna grade them, because they're pretty old. 2004, I want to say, 2004, 2005. I don't know, something like that. They're pretty old. They're rookie cards.
Which is weird because he was golfing 10 years before that as a pro.
Yeah, so those will be easier to grade too. But yeah, I haven't. Like, I bought the last two. I don't even know what the cards were. Like, I bought the last two. I bought Blake's card today. It was Ted Williams. I only bought that, and buy the other one. No, like, I didn't think that it was bad, but I just look at it and I was like, eh.
I can't remember who it was.
I can't remember. And then
I like that Blake card. I like how it's a lot like the Nolan Ryan. He didn't change much.
Yeah, just flipped.
Like, he's definitely definitely says that he's telling a story. And I'm starting to see it as the cards are popping up. I'm ready for the Griffey. Since we know what the Griffey looks like in a way, like what he's told us in the thought process.
Yeah.
Still not telling anybody. No. But that will be really exciting. That will be a card
Griffey,
I'll have to buy.
The Griffey will be fun.
That will be fun. His Ichiro one was sweet. We'll see when we get those. I mean, mine's still processing, but
I have no hope of even getting it this year.
Get it in Christmas.
Yeah, I'll get it around Christmas.
Well, I mean, Blake sent out that he dropped that thing that showed that how they just bought 500,000 mags. That's crazy.
I got I got two of my orders recently.
Okay.
And they've been in the baggie inside, so they've been they're in bubble wraps. On the cases bubble wrapped, and then it's in a baggie. So, I mean, it looks like they're getting stuff out, but
that's kind of cool that now they're adding that extra protection, so it's not getting scratched as bad as it was.
That Jeter right here, it has a massive scratch on the case, huge. Most people, they take a picture and it's you have to really zoom in to see it. No, you can just, if I pull it up to the camera right now, it just a massive scratch right down there.
I have a few of those. The ones that Casey sent, one of them has a horrible scratch, and I'm like, oof. And then one of them has something in it, but I don't want to open it up and pop it out. Yeah. It's the same with my you can't see it. Oh yeah, you can. The trout has something in there that I want to pick out, but it won't. My recent pickups, I don't know. I mean, John he bought me an Austin Nola auto, which I've been looking for one of Austin Nola's. But other than that, I got a really sweet rack. It's already been put away. From what's his name on Twitter, Silver Fox. He just completely surprised me. Sent me a super sick cracked ice Bowman first of George Kirby. So that was cool. It's blue, and I love the color in cards. That's why I think my eyes tend to go more to Don Russ.
Yeah.
I definitely go to Panini because of they don't have the rights in everything, so they get really creative in how the cards look.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the cracked ice stuff is really awesome. Because Prism basketball has those too. And I picked up a bunch of Nasir Little Prism rookies. Because they're me personally, I think he'll be good, but I don't have a huge inclination to buy him, but the cards are awesome.
Have you watched any basketball?
Yeah, I've been watching all the games.
I haven't watched a single freaking one.
Really?
I can't get into it without the fans. I tried to watch the Blazers game against who did they open up against? New Orleans. I tried to get into it. Didn't really care too much about it. Then no, they started up against Memphis, not New Orleans. They haven't played the Pelicans. They started with Memphis. And I was like, it's kind of cool. It's really weird without fans. And then I tried to watch the Celtics one, and it's just not my cup of tea.
I think baseball is more weird without fans.
Oh,
basketball's not bad. Basketball's not bad.
They have the crowd noise in it. You can't even tell.
Yeah, but when somebody hits, I tried. I watched last night or 2 nights ago. I was watching the replay at night.
Okay.
And I can't remember what game I was watching, but somebody hit a foul ball, a long foul ball into the stands, and I saw the empty seats, and I'm like, this feels so weird. Like it doesn't, because I used to watch G League games, so like watching NBA now, it's basically like a G League environment, right? So it's not as weird
See, I
as
can't. Well, I would never watch the G League. That is terrible basketball. But I'll go. But I could watch like AAA, AA, single A, rookie ball, no problem. Like sit there, watch baseball. Definitely where like my heart sits. I mean, baseball is such a simple game. I mean,
yeah.
you hit the ball, you catch the ball, you throw the ball. It's not hard. Bull Durham. That's my favorite. What's your favorite baseball movie?
Sandlot easily.
Okay,
Come on.
I would say that's like number 3 for me.
Yeah.
One's Bull Durham, 2's Major League. No, number 3 is For Love of the Game. Sandlot's 4. I'm sorry.
Field of Dreams?
No, I think it's trash.
Really?
I hate it. I'm gonna get so much hate for this. Luckily, like the people that watch our show haven't like given us too much shit. But I hate that movie. I think it's god awful.
I think it's
not a baseball movie.
Yeah, I think part of it is I haven't seen it in like 10 years, so I don't really know. So I don't know.
I mean, Kevin Costner is the king of baseball movies, but Bull Durham is so good because it's love, it's baseball.
Hardball. Oh man! All right, we need to end the show.
No. Go watch Bull Durham. Major League is great because it's funny as hell.
Yeah,
I've watched that movie thousands of times. For Love of the Game, I mean, it's more of a love story than it is. Kevin Costner, once again, throwing a perfect game. Gets the Yankees, so who doesn't love that? Just gets the goddamn Yankees.
Yeah.
And then 4, Sandlot. Sandlot's just a movie that we grew up with. It was in our childhood. I mean, even kids that are younger than us would say that's the movie.
Sandlot's, yeah.
Yeah, it's Sandlot. I mean, you couldn't be small.
It's always culturally relevant. Like, there's always someone in Halloween, like a bunch of dudes that are like our age that dress up as the entire roster, and it's
easy. I always like the two ones that people like. I've tried to do it with friends a couple times. And they're like, you're either going to be Squints Palladores or Ham Porter because you're chubby.
Yeah.
I'm like, it does like it's just because of the glasses and I'm chubby. I'm like, I have this beard. I can't be any of them.
Yeah.
I'll be the dog.
Yeah.
You haven't been watching baseball? What do you think about your Cardinals with COVID? Like, this is a weird year. We've talked about it before, but I didn't think the Cardinals would be a team that would get
COVID. I mean, you like to think
it's because they went to a casino.
Yeah, you like to think about that, right? Like about your own team not being like dumb enough to do stuff like this, but
right.
I mean, they have, apart from Goldschmidt, I mean, there's a bunch of like young guys. Like there's not a lot of old guys. So like
you got Wainwright's old, Yachty's old.
Okay, well, yeah. But I'm saying like
Carpenter's in his 30s.
Yeah, but there's a lot of young guys. So like
Bader's young, Tyson O'Neill's young, Colton Wong's like in the middle of young.
Yeah.
I mean, Jack Flaherty's
young.
Miles, Michaelis is young.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you definitely Dakota Hudson's young. Yeah, you definitely have a lot of young players.
A lot of young guys, and I don't know. I feel weird saying this because they're probably like around my age or a little bit younger, but like I like to think they're more aware than the older guys, but apparently not. So,
but getting into like we're talking about young teams, Mariners are the youngest team in sports, and like not in sports, in baseball. But I think it's like where you live too. Like the Northwest is so. You could probably just turn to my mom and say hi, Mitch. Like conscious about the COVID. I don't think the Midwest is as much anymore. I don't know what it is. Like Missouri, like I have family in Missouri, and I've never seen them with a picture with the mask on.
Yeah, like Chicago here, like the Cubs are doing great.
Yeah.
White Sox are good. Like I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, what do you think about Lou Bob's like his pricing cards? Do you think he's like earned this like he's almost like Mike Trout level of like?
I think as of like it was 2 or 3 days ago was the last time I watched or kept up with like super baseball related stuff, but he'd hit safely
Right.
in all like 6 games. Some
No,
weird.
he was kind of around there. That was Kyle Lewis. Kyle Lewis went on a 9-game hitting streak,
Okay, yeah.
and his
So
numbers were comparable to. I mean, their numbers are very comparable. Their athleticism is comparable. Lou Bob, I think, is 2 years younger. Because Lewis, he got hurt, blew his knee out. It's taking him a little bit longer to get there. But $50 for a rookie card of a rookie that we're sitting in right now. It's not like the guy's won 2 MVPs, rookie of the year. It's not like spending $700. Well, now it's like $1,200 on a Trout rookie.
I mean, you could argue the same thing about Zion though. Like, why is Zion more crazy expensive than some of like Paul George until he went off like 3 days ago. His 2012, I think 2012 card, Prism card. I don't know if it was Prism or Optic, was like $16.
You know who's this cheap? Dame. Dame.
Oh yeah.
I don't understand that. I do not get how you are all NBA, like 2 years in a row. You're a 5-time All-Star. You are the face of your franchise. You are all over. Like Damian Lillard. He's not just like a basketball player. He's a rapper. He's an activist. And the guy's like, it's no love.
The thing is, the problem with the Blazers players being undervalued is not that the players aren't good, because CJ McCollum's good, Dame is good. Arguably,
CJ.
Huh?
I don't like CJ.
All right,
He's learned how to pass the ball.
He's still a good player.
No, he's still good. When he does it, when he plays without Dame, he's a stud.
Right, and I think that the problem is a lot of people have this perception of like the Blazers are never going to win the finals with this team because they're just haven't built a good enough team, which right now they have a good team. I don't know what's going on, but they have a good team.
They're 1-1.
They're 1-1, yeah.
I think if this is the year, if they can make it out of the bubble, well, they're always going to be in a bubble, but out of like this bubble, like round robin or whatever they're doing, if they can get out of that and get into the playoffs, I think this team is more dangerous than people are realizing.
The Grizzlies lost today, so that's good for you guys.
Yeah, I mean, losing to the Celtics, but it's by 4 points. Like, I wasn't worried when I looked at that box score.
Was that the game where Jason Tatum sucked or the game where he was good? He was good.
I think it's when he was good.
He was
because
good,
if they
yeah.
sucked, we would have probably beat them.
Him and Jaylen Brown, that game, I think, was the game that they went off for like 63 points combined or something like that. It's crazy.
Yeah, and Zach was in foul trouble early, which, I mean, it's normal, but I think he had 3 fouls in a minute and a half, which is not good, but you remember he hasn't played in 6 months.
Yeah.
Nurkic hasn't played in almost a year and a half.
Yeah.
Carmelo's like 50 pounds lighter, so I think it's like they're getting used to who they are right now.
I think that, yeah, like exactly what you said, like they're getting used to it because they haven't played with this team in a long time. It's been a while.
It's a completely different team than it was, when the playoffs are supposed to happen.
Yeah.
Talking about like going and recapping on an episode, I'm jumping over to football. Have you read like what some of the players have talked about with the shield, the mask? They said it's like breathing in a plastic bag.
Oh, really? It's that bad?
They say it's awful.
I don't even know if football is
going to happen.
Which makes me – the thing with like basketball, baseball, and all that is there's so many games that I don't get to keep up with it every year. Like I don't keep up with the season. But with football, like it's 17 games. So like I can
16 games, 17 weeks.
17 weeks. So like I can keep up with it every Sunday. Like I know who won. I know who I'm on it during football season, right? Like if you ask me like a team's record during football season, I'll know because I'm like fantasy all the time.
Right. Oh,
like
it's fantasy. You got college on Saturdays.
Yeah. And with baseball and basketball, like if you ask me some team's record, I'm not going to be able to tell you. I have no fucking clue. I don't even know how many games they've played.
Well, yeah, because normally it's 82 games in the NBA season, and then you got 162 in the baseball season. So, like, it's way longer. It's not longer seasons. It's about the same.
Yeah.
It's just more games played in that amount of
Right.
time. And I think in football, because it's 1 day, it's 3 days a week now.
Okay.
Like you got Thursday games, you got Sunday games, and you got Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
I think the whole country is locked in for those 3 days. Like you're sports fans. Like even if you're not like a huge sports fan, you're just like a casual person, you still caught part of the game or you caught the highlights.
Yeah.
It's not like a casual baseball fan might not have seen a highlight of their team for the entire season. They're like, yeah, I'm a Mariners fan, but I can't tell you who's in their lineup.
Right.
I mean, most people can tell you who's the quarterback of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Like
Gardner Minshew, my dude.
Yeah, Gardner Minshew. Yeah, I was like, who is it this year? Because Blake Bortles is backing up in the Rams.
Yep.
Which is nuts. I mean, that's something like I think most people can go through and name every quarterback in the league.
If Gardner Minshew had been the quarterback for the Jaguars when they were good 2 years ago,
yeah,
they would have won the Super Bowl.
The Mississippi Mustache. He plays a lot like Brett.
Yep.
He's another guy that plays a lot like Brett Favre.
He's honestly like the Jaguars suck, and I'm not just saying that because they're in our division. They suck because they just cannot protect the quarterback. Their wide receivers are trash. As of now, D.D. Westbrook's pretty good.
They don't really have.
But
is Allen Robinson still there?
Allen Robinson is in Chicago.
Oh yeah. He went to Chicago.
I
can't remember all this.
And,
so much sports.
Yeah, like I'll know most NFL stuff, but
their defense is good. I'm excited.
No. Their defense is good. They're not good. They're supposed to be good.
I mean, losing Jalen Ramsey last year and his shenanigans, I think, really affected the team and that kind of stuff. And are we even going to see football, like you were saying before? Like, with the COVID and all that stuff coming up, like how, like some of this stuff blows my mind, like, because I always like watch the little nitty details. Like they say you can't jersey swap in any of the teams, right? Like any of this, but you can kneel for the national anthem and like lock arms and stuff. But then like in the NBA, but when they're sitting down, they're separated. It doesn't make any sense.
I mean, also another thing is like, did you see the Cubs walk-off celebration?
Yeah, they're all up on each other.
No, they weren't.
They weren't?
So they were, okay. They were, they were high-fiving like 3 feet away, but like, they're in the dugout all together. The catcher and the ump are right next to each other the entire game. Like, he's
breathing on him.
Yeah, so I don't know. Like,
and my whole theory about like they can't all be in the dugouts. Pitchers that aren't playing are sitting up in the stands. But here's the thing: they all change in the same locker room. Before you even get there, you have to check your temperature. When you get there, you get your temperature checked. You're tested every other day. So like, if they have COVID or they're getting sick, they're gonna know before like any of it. I think a lot of the procedures and stuff are dumb. I think the bubble's really smart. I think baseball should have figured that out.
They should
have done it. I think that was. I mean, Rob Manfred is the worst commissioner in sports. He's an absolute moron. I would say that to his face. He looks like a Sith Lord. He's marketing the baseball to the newer fan, trying to make the game faster, trying to make the game more presentable. But they're not marketing the players as well. They're starting to now, I think, but the only time I'm ever seeing these commercials is either if I'm on Twitter or like MLB Network.
Yeah, and we've talked about this before, right? Like when I brought up seeing these promotional things, like baseball is back.
Right.
Like if there were more fans and creators that had access to this, like how the NBA has it, like, they're not as strictly policing NBA content. Baseball would be a lot more popular. Like it's lost its. If you didn't play baseball growing up, play Little League or like whatever,
you don't care about it.
Yeah, the chances of you becoming a baseball fan is very, very low. Like because you just don't understand it. Like it's not around. You're not consumed by it. Like basketball, you're consumed by it since like you're in high school. Like there's high school kids that have more Instagram followers and publicists and all this shit than MLB players.
Yeah, well, I think that also, I think that's the players' fault as well. And I think it's a game's fault. Baseball is a team sport, but it's full of individuals.
Yeah.
But, if you look at it, baseball's biggest star, Mike Trout, I mean, Mike Trout's barely on social media. He's not out there front end. He's got more money than God. And, like, he just seems like a normal dude. Like, if you look at, like he's marketable. He's easy to be marketable because he's like Superman.
Mhm.
There's nothing the guy can't do. And they market him, and I think that's who they, like, focus on, too, with their marketing. But, like, there's guys like Javi Baez, like, and Frankie Lindor. Those are, like, two guys where, like, I'm sold every time. Like, if they're playing, I'm watching. If they're on the TV, if I can get those games. Just
And
because they're fun.
yeah. And there's a lot of things that doesn't like get marketed. Like, you know how LeBron has his, that chalk throw, right?
Yeah.
Like stuff like that. There's like Stephen Curry shooting from, full court, half court during all that content is out there. And like when like one cool thing, like this is a Cubs thing, right? Like when Wilson Contreras comes up to bat, there's how there's usually walk-up music.
Yeah.
So when he comes up to bat, his walk-up song is there's literally these drum beats, like just two bass drum beats, and then the entire stadium just chants Wilson, and then two
That's
drum
dope.
beats, and it's like it's stuff like that that's cool to see, right? Like that's something that's obviously like very Cubs centered.
Cubs
But
Center.
like
Or, like,
me being a Cardinals fan, like I can go to Wrigley and experience that. Like it's cool. Like it's something that would make me want to watch. But I've never seen that on a broadcast. It's never like
I didn't know
nothing.
that.
Yeah, it's
I mean, seeing, like, it'd be cool if they showed, like, the walk-up music when they walk up, like, let you hear it.
Yeah.
I mean, they kind of got with it last year with, like, Gerardo Parra with Baby Shark to do to do
Yeah.
do, Baby Shark to do to do do. Like, that was fun. Like, everybody's, like, at, like, all of Washington, all of DC has, like, their little shark hats, and they're all, like, clapping, dude. I was like,
Yeah.
that's cool. But that's
Yeah.
what I think the thing that baseball struggles with is there's a baseball season, which, I mean, 162 games, I could argue it needs to be shorter. Easily, like, maybe 142 in the 130s.
Yeah.
I would say there's nothing like playoff baseball. I mean,
Oh,
playoff
yeah.
basketball is fun. Playoff football, I feel like football because every game matters.
Mm-hmm.
The stakes don't really get, like, they get bigger, but, like, the fan atmosphere is still there. Like, it doesn't really change. But playoff baseball, like, there's nothing. The Mariners could have 19,000 people all year to the stadium. T-Mobile holds over 40,000.
Yeah.
That place would be packed if the Mariners made the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like,
October
and it's
baseball.
loud. Oh, nothing. I'm so excited. If we can get to October baseball, I mean, fans probably won't be there and stuff, but there's just something about it. It's cold. All the games are dark.
Yeah.
It's fun. Baseball's fun.
I hope there's October baseball because
I think we'll get there. I think we're in the right
being
way.
here, it's gonna be awesome, especially if they let the fans in. Like I'm going to a White Sox game. I will go.
Well, especially, like, I mean, like in Wrigley, living in the Wrigleyville, if the Cubs make the playoffs, even if you're not allowed in, dude, I'd be going to Wrigley because you're gonna stand outside of Wrigley with a freaking 1,000 other Cubs fans.
Yeah.
Because that's the one thing that, like, the Northwest struggles with. I mean, Portland does well with the Blazers. I think if the Blazers, like, had a thing and, like, you could, like, everybody would be around. But, like, the Midwest does it well, and New York and Boston do it spectacular, though. I think Chicago, St. Louis, New York, and Boston, their fan bases in baseball. If those teams are in the playoffs, like, the whole city knows they're in the playoffs. And, like, you can live in Chicago, kind of be a Cubs fan. You do not like the Cardinals. Like, there is no love for it. Like, it's just, like, it's put into your DNA. Like, you hear the Cubs, and you're a Cardinals fan, you're like, oh, man, I'm not that big. I mean, and it gets worse. Like, that's my favorite rivalry in baseball, but it gets worse when you go Boston, New York. Like, it's a deep down, generation to generation passed down hate.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's fucking amazing.
Awesome. Yeah.
And I mean, you get that in football too. I mean, Packers, Bears. I hate the goddamn Bears.
One thing I would like to see while I'm still in Chicago, which I wouldn't mind living here for forever, but I would like to see a playoff game between the Sox and the Cubs.
Oh, that'd have to be a World Series.
That would be the greatest
That'd be cool.
World Series.
I
Like
mean,
the city would be in like, I don't know what would happen here, but it would be crazy.
they might stop all killing each other for a day, for
Yeah.
14 days.
Shit, yeah, they might.
Fuck. Oh man,
All right,
I
well-
think that's a great time to end it there
Yeah,
on
let's
one
wrap
of
it up.
Mitchin's dumbass comments. Everybody, thank you for watching Just Mitchin. Abe and I love doing this show. We're gonna have great interviews coming. We're booked for the month of August, and like even when we don't have interviews, we're just gonna sit here and chat. We're talking about maybe going live so that we can get some more interactives. We're still learning this whole process, and we're not good at it. But anyways, thank you so much. Check us out on Twitter at Just Mitchin. Check us out on Instagram at justmitchin_. Oh no, it's just_Mitchin24. TikTok's Just Mitchin. YouTube's Just Mitchin. What am I missing, Abe?
Spotify.
Oh yeah, it's Spotify, Just Mitchin. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm out of here, Abe. Play the fucking music. I'm ready to go eat.